Okay. Stewart, I'm putting you on the spot. Are you available and open to me interviewing you? Real quick interview.
Okay.
All right. So here's and Stewart participated in our 3-day deal sprint. He's in the Founders Club, etc. And I thought it would be useful. If nothing else, I'm curious. He texted me yesterday or Tuesday, I don't remember, and he mentioned that he had found a deal. So our 3-step blueprint: find a deal to use as bait. Step 2, use that bait to reach out to the active buyers that would logically potentially make the most sense for that deal. And then step 3, best case scenario, we're making an offer on that property or they're interested in that property. Worst case scenario, they tell us what they want instead. I suppose worst case scenario, which does happen sometimes, they're just not interested in anything, buying, selling, whatever. It is rare, but it does happen. So you had texted me. You found your deal was a property that had a pretty big price reduction and could be a good rental. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And so how did you, just like in 30 seconds or less, what did you do to find that deal as bait?
So on Monday, when that was the homework assignment, I spent the vast majority of my time in the MLS looking for stuff. I didn't realize
Yep.
it was going to take so long. So it wasn't until late that night that I was actually getting to some expireds. So I was just emailing them because it was 9 or 10 o'clock at night shooting out emails.
Yeah.
So I just went through there and I started with 90 days or more on the market, of course. And vacant. I think that was the only two criteria I had. And so I was just kind of looking through, and then I saw some with some pretty good price reductions. This particular one actually still on the top of my list on my sheet here. $60,000
Stuart
price
likes to
reduction.
print things out. He likes to hold.
If
He's
I could show you my
tactile. He's
desk, I
tactile.
got
Yeah.
paper everywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was a $60,000 price reduction. So that
Okay, so we've got bait. So I wanted to share that just to give some, like, it doesn't have to be rocket science. He looked for 90 days on mark and vacant, and then he was just eyeballing. He was just looking to find, which is a great way to find it and doesn't take that long. Because if you look at photos, you can usually tell. I've got an incompetent listing agent, because that does happen, and that will affect whether or not a property sells and could be a good deal. Or if you can't filter by vacant, or you don't want to filter by vacant because some listing agent won't notate it as such, you can just eyeball, the house is empty, so it's vacant. And then he also looked for a price reduction. So he's got bait, and then you reached out to who? And you don't have to say like specifically like what zip code or whatever, but which buyer bucket did you then reach out to?
my zip code.
So your zip code, and so you were using LeadDeck.
Yep.
And so it was your zip code, which again, we don't have to say, but which of the 4 buyer buckets was it?
For the cash buyers.
So he went out to cash buyers, and you were tapping to call, text, and email?
Email and text.
Okay.
The way, because I was trying to get as many out.
Hey, and it works, right? And it worked for you. And one of the responses you got was what? You can paraphrase or ad lib.
Didn't get a ton right away, but yeah, 2 people said they were interested, but one that I sent you that text was yes, and I'm also looking for a 10 to 20 unit apartment.
Okay, so he found a deal on market. He used that deal as bait, pulled up the cash buyers in LeadDeck, started texting and emailing, wasn't even calling, which whatever. Sometimes we have the time and we can make that work, and sometimes we can't. Or let's face it, sometimes we're tired and we just don't want to talk on the phone. Like that's okay too. People will still reply to text and email, especially the buyers. I have found pretty routinely, I get 20 to 40% reply rate to email. Reply rate to email. I have no idea what the open rates or whatever. So use what you can, do what you can. I use the thing while I'm waiting in the car for kids on appointments or whatever. What I want to close the loop on with that is he now had someone that said, yes, I'm interested. Let me actually do that. Before I pivot to the second part of this, what did you do since then with that and with them?
Gosh, I don't remember. We've been so through the sprint. So I replied back to him. I know I asked where he was looking, so what areas he bought in, if he had any specific, because Atlanta's huge. So
yeah,
you could be in my zip code, but own on the other side of town too. I asked that, but I didn't get a reply. So I need to follow back up on that.
Okay, so did you actually send that one the deal?
Yes.
Did you actually send him the info on the one that you had reached out about?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So today, this wasn't even part of what I had planned. For today, absolutely circle back with him. Close that loop. Hey, just making sure you got the info on that. And oh, by the way, I'm also going to get to work on finding you some properties like what you described, maybe 10 to 20 units, apartment complex type of properties as well. Cool?
Correct.
So the last part of it, what does that look like? How do I then do that? And I would try to exhaust whether or not they're going to make an offer on the bait that you had. Okay, obviously. But if I want to then take a result, a response, a reply, an engagement, and turn it into more potential opportunities. I'm going to go to the seller target. And for this, because I'm not going to put the specific zip code or anything. What is the county that property and that buyer is in?
Henry. Patrick Henry.
So this is good. This is going to be a lot. And I normally would recommend we go zip code specific, city specific. But I didn't prep Stewart for this at all. And I didn't want to give away some of what he may be working on. Okay. I put in Henry County. I'm going to start with the 2 to 4 units. Now, that person said 10 to 20, but I just want to demonstrate how quickly and easily we can check some data here and get some information. So in Henry County, there are 8 out-of-state absentee owners with multifamily, 22 tax default. That would be the one that I would go to immediately. If I was working that audience in that count looking for deals for a buyer, I would immediately go to the tax default. I may regret doing this because this part is still a work in progress, but I'll also check 5+ units because that's really what he said, or she said they wanted. And it looks like it's not mapped right in that county. What I'll do, this is great, is I'm going to take this back to Sean and figure out how do we find, what are we not filtering by? In other words, when you get outside of the normal single family residential townhouse and even the small multis, different courthouses and counties report the information and the data and they classify them differently. And so we're still working through on how do we have the data set such that it works in a majority of the counties where we can pull something like this, which is very common when we're reaching out to investor buyers, whether it's cash, the landlord, the existing multifamily buyers, et cetera. So I'll figure that out. But let's assume we just wanted to go with the multifamily and we reach out to the 22 tax default. We take it back to that existing buyer, number one, and then we take that result and we turn it into another result, meaning I have a willing hand raiser. Yes, I would consider selling my 3 unit in whatever city in Henry County. I just go back and I'm just playing. We keep using this analogy. I'm just playing go fish. I go back, and this is going to be a lot, but I'm going to pull up the whole county. I'll go back here. I'll check the lead counts, and I could go, it's not as many as I thought. I could go and reach out to, I could start small, reach out to the 4 multifamily buyers in that county and say, I got an off-market 3 unit. Are you looking for any deals? Stewart, thanks for being a good sport. Is there anything I missed or anything to add for those that are curious?
No, and as you see the low numbers, that's why I was curious where all he would want to buy.
Sure.
Get all over.
Yeah, because he may, that 10 to 20 units that he wants, he may be open to a bigger.
Henry County.
Exactly, 100%.
Want to know where to look, and
so,
it's a big area to look.
I will get with Sean to see what we can do to get you that 5 unit plus data in that county, or if you identify any others that he may be looking in as well. Thanks for being a good sport. Stewart also hooked us up with a nice rating and review on Google. So LeadDeck.ai has its own business profile, Google business profile now, and we have a growing, James as well. Thank you, James. We have a growing number of reviews on there, and we're pretty proud of. I'm going to drop the document that I dropped at the beginning one more time because some of you, depending on when you came in, may have missed it. Terrell asked, Stewart's bait was inactive. Stewart mentioned that later in the day, he started emailing expireds, but the bait he found was an active listing that had a significant price reduction and could make sense as a rental. I think that was right, Stewart. It could make sense as a rental property.